What's up guys, Captain Nintendo 64 here, and welcome back to ranking all of the Smash Ultimate stages. Today, me and the boys are going to be taking a dive into the stages in Smash Ultimate that come from Super Smash Bros. Melee. And these guys don't really need an introduction. So we're going to begin with Princess Peach's Castle, which I'm already thinking is going to be high B tier because it's certainly far from like the most fun stage, but I personally do get a bit of an enjoyment out of it. There's a couple of highlights. The bonsai bills, for one, because they're just kind of funny that they're just nuking Peach's Castle for no discernible reason. I personally do like that the castle itself is kind of scaled down compared to what was seen in Mario 64. Because if the castle was still that same size that it was in Mario 64, like, it would be ranked lower because the bigger size would actually be more of a hindrance to me. I do think that the visuals are definitely a lot better than the Melee version. And honestly, I think compared to some other like building type stages, it's not the most annoying. At least like in comparison to like something like Foreside, it's just a tiny bit less annoying because it is a streamlined building. But yeah, but also the last detail I want to cover, the other stage hazard that can appear in the form of the blocks and platforms that can show up with the switches, which they don't really like add too much to this stage, if at all. Like, I do like that like they spawn blocks that can spawn items if you bash into them. But the biggest detail that I like out of them is the fact that those switches can come in red, green, and blue, which are the same color as switches and blocks that are seen in Mario 64. And I don't really have much else to say any further than that, so yeah, B tier for me. We'll see how it fares in ranking.
Okay, honestly, I'm probably gonna have to disagree when you say the stage being smaller is better, because personally I do wish it was a little bigger, but then again I feel like it is at a size where it is at least playable on, but I would prefer if it was a little bit bigger. But because personally I'm not just because honestly, actually I'm pretty sure this is the first stage in the tier list so far that does the thing I don't really like about some stages, where they have just something in the middle that's kind of acts as a wall. Like, personally, I don't really like that idea, because then it just makes the stage feel smaller, since it's like two separate, like, smaller fields to fight on, and doesn't give you much space. But I mean, yeah, I do like the bullet bills hitting the castle and causing explosions and stage hazards. I feel like that's like it's decent enough to where like it's not gonna hinder anything too drastically, but it can be definitely used to an advantage of some kind. But in terms of where I put it, I'll give it a C tier.
Oh crap.
Yeah, I'm honestly not much of a fan of this one. I understand why some people like it, but I'm just like, I mean, it's alright, I guess. I don't really find it that memorable, but I mean, yeah, the bullet bill, the bombs and bills are good, kind of like cool, but they're also like extremely annoying to deal with, especially if you're on that side. And I also feel like the stage is actually too big. I mean, yeah, I know it was made years before Ultimate, but I still feel like this stage feels like an 8-player stage instead of a 4-player one. But again, that's just me, and I just don't really find the stage that fun. It's just like extremely annoying to play on. I mean, yeah, there are cool stuff that happens in it. Like obviously from Mario 64, because you know I like Mario 64 a lot. Yeah, I just don't really find this stage really that memorable. It's not terrible, like, don't get me wrong, but I just don't find it really that memorable. I think I'll put it lower C tier. Like, I mean, again, it's not the worst stage, but I just don't really care for it.
A couple things before Prism goes. I could not help but just laugh at you saying that's not memorable when it's literally Peach's Castle.
No, I was talking about the stage, not the castle itself.
Well, even then, like, how else are you going to incorporate Peach's Castle into a game? You either incorporate it in this capacity or not at all.
Or you could do the inside, but that's the point, I guess.
That would be less.
Yeah.
I think that would be less iconic. I digress, though. But the other thing I was going to say is that I do not think that. I think 4 players works perfectly for Peach's Castle personally, but also more importantly is that. Have you ever played Princess Peach's Castle on 8-player Smash, Michael?
I don't think so.
All right, note to self: we need to do exactly that next time we play Smash Bros. Because I don't see 8-player Smash being like, well, I can see it working on the stage, but like, in comparison to 4 players, Anyway, that's all I had to interrupt on. Go ahead, Prism.
I really like this stage, but I think the thing that ruins it is what Jordan mentioned, the big spire in the middle that basically splits it into 2 halves. I always hate it when stages do that, because it's like, instead of one big battlefield, it splits everything up. But other than that, I really like this stage. The bonsai builds are fun. I like the extra platforms that spawn. You actually have enough space to fight, even though it is split up. So I personally put this at the top of B.
I don't know whether to average out to top of C or bottom of B.
Probably bottom B.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. I guess one more thing, like, regarding that spire thing is that, like, the only way I could see that working where they just have that in the background is if they have the camera angle from the back of Peach's Castle, and that'd probably be a little bit more, because you cannot have that middle spire without the, because it literally connects to whatever that, like, part of the roof that connects to the stained glass window. Like, you can't do that. You can't do it without that. So either, like, you do it from the back angle, or you just don't do it at all. That's what I'm saying.
Or they could just put it in the background, but again, probably besides the point.
That's what I'm talking. You can't put it in the background because of the thing in the front foreground.
Well, look, sometimes we're just talking about what's more practical for the stage and not really what makes more sense.
Well,
Exactly.
the thing is, like, there draws a line between what comes as practical and what also comes as visually appealing.
I mean, they did spires in the background for Hyrule Castle in N64, so it works.
Well, I mean, yeah, but that's because they had every reason to do that with Hyrule Castle being a flat stage, whereas Peach's Castle, like, for that middle spire, you can't exactly do that. Anyway, that was like 5 minutes of just talking about this stupid stage alone. So let's go to an objectively worse stage by every front. Well, many fronts. Rainbow Cruise, which I honestly feel like this would already go bottom to C or D tier already for me, because this is not a very fun stage to play on. Like, in some aspects it can be, but like, given that this is the first traveling stage, like, number one, it's supposed to be adapting Rainbow Ride from Mario 64, but that is a very loose adaptation, because for one, the ship is objectively better than the one that's actually in Rainbow Ride, before Michael especially, like, hammers me on that. But more importantly, it barely resembles that ship in Rainbow Ride. And it does not cover every single part of Rainbow Ride. There's some assets from Rainbow Ride that are in. You know what? Even despite the fact that it's adapting Rainbow Ride specifically, which is already one of, if not my least favorite stage in Mario 64, that already leaves a sour taste in my mouth. And even then, like, playing on the stage is not that fun at all to me. Like, I don't know, it's just hard to describe. Like, I think I have to give it D tier. I don't know. I can't put it any other way than that.
Yeah, I could agree. I don't like this stage. Like, I'm not really a fan of the scrolling stages. I mean, like, if they go slow enough, I feel like it works just fine. But with this one, it definitely does not go slow enough. But not only that, also just I don't like how there's so many, like, separate platforms that make it, like, I'm pretty sure almost all platforms are on that you could easily fall off, or fall through, except for the ship itself. And I especially don't like the last bit where, like, it just pans down super fast. Like, Because I'm pretty sure I've had a handful of times where I just couldn't get down fast enough.
You almost had that when we were recording the B-roll.
It proves my point. So
I know. I was just saying.
I'd be tempted to give it F, but I feel like that would be a bit harsh. So maybe just bottom of D. Or what I mean is that like there's probably worse stages, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I'd give it at least bottom of D.
Yeah, I'm not much of a fan of this one either. Like you guys said, if fighting on the ship only lasts us for like 30 seconds or whatever it decides to like go to audio scroll. And like Jordan says, audio scroll can work if it's like slow enough, but it moves kind of too fast, and it's like you lose the track of where your character is. It's just like completely ignoring to do it. And like what Alex says, it also referenced Mario 64, Rainbow Ride, which is most people, Alex included, his least favorite stage of Mario 64, which is, yeah, it's like a very annoying stage to play on. And if we just fight on the ship, I actually think it wouldn't be that bad. But since it includes the audio score as well, yeah, I'm not much of a fan of this one either. I'd probably put it in D tier. It's just not really that fun to play on, and it's like very annoying. If we're just playing on the ship, I'd probably give it the C tier, but since it has the stupid auto scroll, D tier.
Alright, so my first gripe with the stage is, how is this supposed to be Rainbow Ride for the background? Because isn't the background of Rainbow Ride just the sky, not like mountains and stuff?
Literally, yeah.
So, I mean, the ship looks cool, and I like the platforming, but you can definitely tell it's their first try at a stage that changes halfway through, because the platforms aren't really built super well for fighting on, and the auto-scrolling is a lot faster than you'd expect, so I feel like on the platforming section, it pauses the fight, basically. Instead of fighting, you're just platforming now. So, I mean, cool in theory, but bad execution. I'd put it bottom of D. Although it does look good, even if it doesn't really resemble Rainbow Ride that much.
Alright, unanimous decision. Now we move on to Congo. Yeah, Congo Falls, I believe the name is. And I already think this would be like low C. It's alright. Like, I don't know. It's just like very, very meh to me. Like, it's kind of well, not kind of. It's very much on the smaller side. Like, much like Congo Jungle, it does have a barrel there, but that's not really much to save it. And for some reason, it also has a rock sticking out of the waterfall. So that's interesting, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of meh to me. The only thing that it has going for it, like, is DK's tree house thing in the background, which, don't ask me why it's next to a waterfall, even though it was never like that in any of the games besides Melee and Smash Ultimate. So I don't know what else to say otherwise. It's very much a boring stage.
Okay, so for this one, I'd say that I feel like I feel like the stage could be a little bit bigger. And I do feel like the rock at the side, I feel like the rock at the side is decently, like definitely not recommended to fight on, but definitely a nice something in case you really did screw up that badly. Kind of like an extra way to save yourself if you really want to. Or I don't know. I feel like the platforms above can kind of get in the way sometimes, but if I had to give myself some ups on this one, I do like how there's a chance that one of those something could come out the water and almost kill you, like just randomly. I feel like that definitely adds some extra tenseness or wariness of being close to the water. I'd probably keep it in C. That's probably my ranking.
Yeah, okay, this stage is like just average. That's all I can really say about it. I mean, it's cool visually, like the waterfalls and all stuff, even though like Alex says, Donkey Kong's house is next to the waterfall, which makes no sense at all. But I don't have much to say about it. It is kind of fun to fight on, sort of, not really, but There's also barrels here I think there's barrels here that you could shoot off of, but you could shoot to the wrong side and die, like going down straight. I think there is. I could be wrong.
Yeah, you can actually see it on the thumbnail for it too. Like
Yeah,
it's just there on the bottom left of the thumbnail.
Oh yeah, I can see it as well. Yeah, but if you shoot it down, it's like you're like instantly dead. So it can be fun, but it also like can be like really deadly at the same time. So
much like Congo Jungle 64, if you do end up having that happen to you, skill issue.
exactly. Yeah, I'd put it C tier.
This stage is. I feel like this is one of, if not the smallest stage in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there's no room to do anything on this stage. The little platforms on the side kind of help, but not really. It's just too small to fight on. Although I do really like how you can jump up from underneath the stage. I always like it when you can do that. Because I feel like a lot of the time I always end up like missing the edge and getting caught under the stage. I like how you can't do that here, but other than that, it's just way too small.
So I'm guessing we're keeping out a unanimous decision again?
Oh, yeah, I guess, top of D, I don't know.
I think the average is where it is right now, so we'll leave it at that. Now, next we have Jungle Japes, which I personally already want to put it in C tier, but specifically between Mushroom Kingdom and Peach's Castle 64. I have a tiny bit of bias because of a funny exploit you can do with a level 9 CPU NES. If you know, you know. But the stage itself is a little bit on the smaller side, but I personally would rather fight on this small of a stage than Congo Falls, primarily because it's a little bit more interesting to look at because it's more of a sunset. It also kind of doesn't make sense that Cranky Kong's house in the background there, it's just on a boardwalk above a rushing river, but I feel like it doesn't make as it makes a little bit more sense just by a tiny bit than DK's house being above a waterfall. I do like that for no discernible reason there's a Kong barrel bathroom thing on the left. And also, because of what they did with Brawl Onward with the water being able to jump out of it, that much like the stage we're going to be talking about next, you can actually attempt to get out of the water even though it's rushing. But so long as a claptrap doesn't come your way to chomp you down and send you straight into hell, you could be able to get out of the water and live. But other than that, there isn't really much else to say. I personally just like fighting on it over Peach's Castle 64 and Yoshi's Story. Just because, I don't know, I think the fact that it's a sunset aesthetic, it's more visually appealing in that sense. Kind of like Congo Jungle 64. But yeah, I don't know how much else to say. It's just the middle C tier for me.
Okay, on one hand, I feel like the stage is at least big enough to fight on, and I do feel like the platforms on the side, again, do provide for at least just extra places to go, although definitely not recommended to fight on. But I do like the gimmick of the waves carry you away, and especially a sense because it gives you a chance to try and save yourself without just instantly dying. But I do also like how just randomly a claptrap can also just jump out the water and just one shot you. I feel like that definitely gives a kind of, it could kind of give a risk and reward kind of thing. And of course, it's always just funny to see someone get carried away by the waves. So, I'd probably give it around C tier.
If person thinks that the last stage was too small, this one, in my opinion, is actually even smaller. I mean, don't get me wrong. It like Jordan said, it is fine enough to play on, but it's just I don't know. I just feel like I just get hit constantly, over and over again, no matter what I try to do, or no matter which character I play on. because I swear it happens all the time. Now, maybe it's because of me not being like that good at Smash or something like that. And also, I got wrecked during the recording of the game that you're seeing on screen right now. But yeah, I just don't really have. I do think it is better than the other one, like personally. That's just me. But not that much to really say about it. It is good visually, but not really that interesting. But you guys know the story. But I actually one time I was playing this stage by myself with like another CPU. I don't, what probably was just like one of my V's or something. And somehow one of the CPUs got stuck in a rush one for like 3 minutes straight, and I just stayed there and just did nothing. Literally happened.
Really?
No, seriously, I'm not joking. That actually happened one time.
Oh my god!
It was actually so funny. So yeah, I actually enjoyed this one much more. I put it in C tier, kind of closer to upper, but not quite there. But I do like this better than the last DK stage.
Michael said the stage felt way too small, but I feel like this is one of the few small stages that actually work well. I really like how chaotic it is with the waves. You can jump out of them, but it is kind of tricky to do that sometimes. But I feel like the stage is always fun no matter what. So honestly, I'm gonna put this one in A.
Whoa, okay.
Interesting.
I think with that makes it average top of C, I think. If Battlefield can freaking move, please, thank you. I was legit not expecting that from you, I'll be honest.
I wasn't either.
Who did, honestly?
Alright, now we move on to Great Bay. I honestly don't know what to, like, say first, because, I feel like this is, like, an average stage for sure. I think I'll probably put it, like, I'll put it at top of C. Like, I think once I get my thoughts, I'll probably change it, but that might not happen. But, actually, no, lower C. Because I just remember, like, the main point of this stage is that the main stage itself, there are 2 platforms on, well, 3 platforms on the left side. One has, whatever that laboratory house in the background is, which, actually, fun fact, was something that you originally were supposed to be able to, like, actually go inside of, because that thing was in the, actually part of the stage layout and not just in the background in Melee, beta and stuff. But I think having it in the background makes it more tangible to fight on. But that's not really saying much, because it's still just 3 platforms. That the left one, on the very left one, is a small little rock, and then the right one is a slightly bigger platform than that, which has a one of the owl statue thingies, which I only the only reason I even like acknowledge them to begin with is because they're also used in World of Light in one of the Dark Worlds sub areas. But there's also a turtle that is on the right side of the stage, but not all the time, because it can go away and leave the left side of the stage the only place to fight on. And I think that happens if you pop Tingle's balloon, because Tingle can show up on the stage sometimes, which is kind of funny because you can pop his balloon over the water and kill him effectively. But yeah, the turtle disappearing kind of does make the stage a little bit more annoying. And the stuff that happens in the background with the Titans or the Giants or whatever those things are called in the background that stop the moon from crashing, like, that is cool visually, but it's not really enough to, like, save it, because that only happens, like, what, every 1 or 2 minutes or something. So, I'll put it between the 2 Mario stages of the Smash 64 in C tier.
I'm really sure to think about this one. Like, on one hand, I do like how it's laid out. I feel like again, like, decent. I'd say like actually, I don't know. Like, I feel like on one hand it is kind of decent space to fight on, but on the other hand, they can be a bit small. But I do like being able to do like how you are able to kind of just swim under the platform. I feel like that does provide for a decent escape since it can be a bit tricky in terms of water physics. But on the other hand, I feel like the stage can feel a bit small in some cases. And I feel like the turtle does definitely help expand the stage a bit, at least when it does show up. So I really don't know. I guess like bottom of C for me. I really don't know how to feel about this stage.
I don't like the stage like very much. It's just I just find it one of the most annoying stages to play on. Like especially at the bottom part, like because it's like water and all that stuff. It's like so annoying to deal with. Yes, you can get it out of it a lot easier than the Donkey Kong stage, but I still don't like it either way. The turtle is just whatever to me, but I just don't really like fighting on the stage. I just don't find it fun. All that stuff. I just don't find it that memorable either. I mean, yeah, admittedly, it's not the worst stage ever, but I just still don't like playing on the stage. I'm giving it a D tier.
Funny to me that of all the areas in Majora's Mask they picked Great Bay, which no one really likes. I mean, I like the stage, but I like the area, but I always like water areas in Zelda games. But for the stage itself, I feel it's just mediocre. I mean, other than the visuals, it's just the platforms are okay. I like the turtle comes up sometimes, and I like that you can murder Tingle. But I don't know, I don't feel like it has anything that stands out about it. I'd say middle of C is good.
I think to average it, I'll put it between Happy Tree and Congo Falls. Now, we have one of the most iconic Smash Bros. Stages in existence. It's Temple, which, unironically, despite it being the first big stage that we've had in the series, I do get some enjoyment out of it because, unlike a handful of the other big stages that would come for the rest of the series, I get some enjoyment out of this one. Like, so much so that, like, I'm debating, like, it's a split between bottom of A and top of B for me. Right now I'm going to leave it at top of B, but I think, like, the different level assets that are here, like, they provide some sort of, like, tense moments to fight on for this stage. Especially because, like, the blast zones are kind of close to the stage itself. Like, if you're fighting on the stage and the blast zone thing appears on the top right or whatever, and you can see that, like, the boundary or the out of bounds, the blast zone, excuse me, why does I prefer? The blast zone was kind of close to, like, the square that was actually taking up the tangible space that you can be on for the stage. I don't know. It's hard to really describe, like, my personal feelings because, like, it's just so iconic, and that's especially not helped because, again, much like last time, we're not factoring music for this, but the remix of the temple theme from Zelda 2: Adventure of Link that we got for the temple stage, like, probably one of my favorite Smash themes in the series that we've gotten. There isn't really any much else I could, like, really think of for Temple, so for all I know, like, I don't know what these guys, like, personal histories are with Temple, so if it gets dropped, like, quite low, then it is what it is, but I would personally put it top of B.
I know this probably might sound like a hot take to some people, but I'm putting this up in A. Mainly just because, like, one, I feel like I definitely prefer to play on a bigger stage than a smaller stage. Is for one, but another one is that I do like how this one gives, like, a lot of different ways to go. Like, because, like, especially, like, just, like, being able to, like, jump off the edge in some places and just save myself by jumping down to the bottom really quickly. I feel like it does provide good getaways. Which I know some people would think that it, or actually, maybe I won't. Actually, not for this one. But otherwise, I feel like this is a solid, like, big stage 4. Like, max players, like, definitely not too large and definitely not too small. I'd say definitely in that Goldilocks kind of area. So honestly, I give it either top of A or somewhere else, but probably top of A.
Finally, an actual good stage, and it's actually a big stage. Holy crap! Anyway, yeah, I actually really enjoyed the stage a lot. I wouldn't say it's the best stage ever made, but so far, mainly, it's the best one. It's my favorite one so far. But of course, we have other stages that it can talk about, so it could easily top that. I really enjoy finding this one a lot. Like Jordan said, it's not too big, it's not too small. It's like the perfect size for all that. I like how you float. It's like a floating in midair in the island. That's what it looks like to me. But yeah, pretty solid stage overall. I give it an A tier. Now again, it's not the best, but I say it's a pretty solid stage. That's just me.
I feel like this is one of the few like giant stages that actually work really well. It's very fun to fight on. Like Alex said, it's one of the most iconic Smash stages. It's just the platforms are really good. It doesn't have the same problems that other giant stages have, where like there's caves that you can just get stuck in and not die. Most of it's actually out in the open, which is nice. I don't know, it's just a really good stage, so I personally say like top of A.
I think it'll average out there then. Which, I guess after you guys like saying that stuff, I think like I would like change my ranking to be bottom of A based on that, because I wasn't sure if I honestly didn't know if you guys liked the stage or hated the stage. Because like I don't know if I ever asked that about that when we were playing on Temple before, but now that I know that what you guys have said, I'm happy with its current placement. Very happy. And now we go back to kind of an average stage. This is Brinstar, which is basically like a remake of Planet Zebes, I believe it's called, from Smash 64. It's very much a similar layout. It has the exact same gimmick plus an extra one in the form of the acid lava, or as we've Prism and I have jokingly called it, the piss lava.
The P.
Yeah. Because it's yellow for some reason. I don't know what the lore behind that is. I don't know crap about Metroid, so if the lava there is actually yellow in Brinstar and Planet Zebes, then it is what it is. But
it is, but it's not like neon pea yellow. I think it's more like a sand color, from what I remember.
Well, either way, it's there and it's kind of annoying. Well, it's not like despicably annoying, because you will know when the lava is coming up to you. But also the other stage gimmick is that the stage can split in half with these weird circle things, kind of on the right side. If you attack them, the stage splits. But you do have to be careful to attack those if you want the stage to split, because if you're doing an aerial attack on those, you have to be quick to recover. I don't know. I've always thought that the stage was kind of just like an average one, kind of like a middle ground one. I don't know a lot about Metroid, so it's hard to really collect my thoughts on this stage. So I think I'll put it just above the top half of C. I don't really have much else to say beyond that. Oh, wait. Sorry. I just remembered something else that you can do. The two floating platforms that are on the left and right side, they're held to the stage by some weird, string, antenna. I don't know what those things are, but, it's things that you can attack to actually separate the string and make both of those platforms tilt upwards. Which actually could be a hindrance during a fight, maybe. I don't really see a reasonable scenario where it could be the biggest hindrance, because we haven't really had that happen to us much, where we're deliberately attacking those things. But I almost completely forgot that was a thing that is in the stage. So that's all I wanted to also mention before Jordan goes. So go ahead, Jordan.
Okay. Honestly, this is kind of just a don't really like the stage that much. Okay, like because I feel like this stage easily gets outclassed by another stage that will rank at another time. But also, another thing about it is that I feel like the gimmicks in this one aren't really that interesting. Like, yeah, like you get attack the thing in the center and it'll split the stage apart. You get attack the intestine things on the sides to change the platforms. But honestly, I feel like they take way too many hits to actually break them. Let alone not even all your attacks will be able to actually hit them. So I feel like nobody in a serious fight is really going to even try to mess with those. So and like honestly, the only interesting gimmick about it is the lava rising. But even then, again, another stage does the whole lava gimmick much better. So honestly, I'd probably give the stage a D. It just kind of gets outclassed in my eyes.
I'm really hoping it's not by a stage that I'm thinking of.
Well, we're not talking about it right now.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the stage either. The stage, I mean, yeah, the lava thing, or should I dare say it, that Prism and Alex says.
lava.
Yeah, that was actually pretty interesting, but that's really the only positive I can really say. The stage is just too small for me, for my liking. I mean, like, maybe that's just me, but I just don't really think the stage really works as 4 players. It's more for 2 players, in my opinion. Yeah, because there's just too many small platforms, and you can like fall like very easily. Especially with the lava like rising, it's like if you have a character that has a terrible recovery, it's like game over for you, or like you lose a stock like very easily. So yeah, I also put this in D tier. I put this in D tier. I just said that. Sorry, but you know what I mean.
I also don't really like the stage. It looks cool, yeah, that's about it. It's already small enough. Doesn't help when the lava rises. It gets the size of the stage is like cut in half, so it gets even smaller. Also, what is the brain supposed to be in the background? I don't know a whole lot about Metroid, but I don't think I recognize that brain.
Dude, none of us really played Metroid, so like we couldn't even tell you.
I think I'm the only one here who has like 1 or 2 games.
I know I've like dabbled into NES Metroid and Super Metroid because of the masterpieces. But like that's really not saying much.
The only Metro game I ever played was the very first one on the NES, and that was it.
Yeah, but everything else, I think the stage just is honestly one of the worst ones. I'd honestly put this one in F, like more the top of F, because there are worse stages, but this stage just sucks.
Damn, okay. Well, I don't really care for the stage. Like, again, I just think it's meh. So, like, I'm not dissatisfied with this placement at the least. Alright, anyway, now we have Yoshi's Island Melee, also known as Super Mario World The Stage. Which, honestly, I think I'm going to put this at top of... actually, kind of a split between bottom B, top C. Because it is a giant Super Mario World reference, and I think it's executed pretty decently in that factor. It's hard to... It's definitely not an exact replica of one of the stages in Mario World. It's based on, like, Yoshi's Island Level 1, I think, based on the background alone. And especially because there's a bonsai build that can randomly show up in the background, and also a Lakitu, I think specifically a fish in Lakitu. Which, for the bonsai build, I think is funny because I know of a visual glitch that I've seen happen before where I don't know if it's a thing on the normal version, but I know it's a thing on the Battlefield and or Final Destination version of the stage, where the bonsai build can just show up in the middle of the background for exactly 1 frame before it starts its animation from the right side to the left side. And I've tried my darndest to point it out when we were fighting on the Battlefield version of Yoshi's Island Melee with the boys, but we've never had successful luck in that. But I know for a fact I've seen it, and it's just kind of funny when it happens to me. As for the stage itself, I think the tilted areas are like, they're not really that much of a hindrance. Henceforth, why I do think it puts it at a top of C tier. The turn blocks can be a tiny bit annoying, primarily the ones in the middle that are like splitting the stage up. Because if you accidentally attack those turn blocks, you're very much screwed if you fall into the pit. I think it's also annoying that the hill on the right side is one that you can like is a walk-off hill, so that if you just like walk on that slope up to the right, you're pretty much dead if you just keep going. But I don't know. Like, it's not a terrible stage by any stretch of the imagination. But, though I do think it's funny that it's classified as a Yoshi stage and not a Mario stage, and then henceforth, its remix of the Mario World athletic theme falls under the Yoshi category when it wasn't part of the Yoshi series to begin with. So that's a little bit funny, but yeah, I don't think it's like too terrible. So top of C.
Sorry, but I'm gonna have to disagree. Personally, I don't really like it. Okay, I feel like it does look fine, just my one problem is that I don't like stages where their edges are... I don't like stages with slopes on them. I feel like one thing I commonly see myself happening with this stage where, like, I hit someone when they're at high percentage and they go flying, but they hit the sides and it just completely cancels out their launching, so they stay in for even longer when they should have died. Personally, that does kind of ruin some of it. Plus, I feel like the blocks in the middle can't... Like, I would say they're kind of a hindrance, but then again, like, they're not... Like, they're not too... It's not like all the time that you're gonna accidentally hit them, but then again, like, if you only get one hit and then you fall down and you don't see it coming, there's no way... Your chance to get it back up are quite low. So, honestly, probably give it about, like, D.
I actually like this stage. I found it kind of fun. I don't know why. I just thought it's fun, especially with the middle part right there. Obviously you're not going to hear our recording audio from the game, but I was screaming like so much because I kept falling in the middle part like over and over again. I was like, "God damn it, you idiot! Stop falling down on purpose, you idiots! Have you ever played this stage before?" Like all that stuff. My classic screams. Yeah, the slopes can be annoying, like Jordan says, but and it's obviously not the best stage, not even close. But I still think it's a pretty solid stage one. It's so I give it a solid B.
I'm also gonna put it in B. I agree with Michael how it's one of my favorite stages. Although I do have problems with it, like the slopes, Jordan said, like even if you smack someone when they're at like 300%, they can still bounce on the slope and not die. Also, walk-off stages can always be annoying with the shenanigans they usually have, where you can like die at 0%. I feel like this stage is more fun than annoying though, so I'm gonna put it, yeah, in B with what Michael said.
Alright, I think that averages out to be the bottom of B, so yeah. Alright, next up, we have Yoshi's Story. I believe that's the name of it. Which, first things first, because of the way they named the Yoshi stages in all these games, like, it's hard to keep track of them all. Like, the only one I remember the most is Super Happy Tree, only because they renamed it. But even then, it's still like just a mess stage. And Yoshi's Story here, I feel like it's only slightly better. It is kind of just a Battlefield clone again, but I think it's done a bit better than Super Happy Tree because it's flat. And also like getting up to the platforms like doesn't take like 3 jumps or whatever. There are clouds on the sides again, but they're, like, interestingly enough, they're, like, only show up on, like, the sides. Like the sides as in, like, the stage, or the main stage platform, I guess. Because they're on a track. I do kind of like the aesthetic more, especially because it's from Melee, not Smash 64, so the aesthetic is already much better. Because, well, the namesake, it's based on Yoshi's Story, which is kind of has like a slight cardboard feeling to it in some levels, from what I can remember. Which is kind of something funny because that's like kind of tied with the Yoshi series going forward, or at least for some games. But I think it's kind of just like, it's basically just like a Battlefield clone with the main platform like going all the way down to the blast zone, as opposed to just being a floating platform, which can be a hindrance or a salvation, I guess, because, well, primarily if you're playing as a wall jump character and you get knocked down there, you could possibly save yourself with a wall jump in addition to a jump and or up B. So that's kind of nice on that front, but it is still just a Battlefield clone at its core. I don't know if I would put it directly above Battlefield, though. I'm definitely putting it above Kirby's Dream Land, so I guess, like, not the highest C, but still a high C.
Honestly, I do actually like this stage. Okay, like you said, yeah, it is just another Battlefield stages, but I tend to prefer a Battlefield stage over a stage that's just too complicated to fight on. But I don't know, I give it a B tier, I'd say. Like, pretty solid, pretty like basic, but definitely one that works. I mean, I would, although as a bit of a side note, I did wish that they added some kind of like added a Woolly World stage, since since that was the only Yoshi game that I did play. And maybe I have a bit of bias, but other than that, I give it a B.
Yeah, I like the stage better than the first Yoshi story stage, or whatever the last one was called. But it's not really that much better, honestly. It's just kind of boring. It, like Alex has been saying, it's literally just a clone of Battlefield, with like not much really interesting happening in it, except for the clouds, of course. But yeah, but that's really all I can really say about it. Yeah, just, I mean, it is better than the one in 64, but not by much. I'm just gonna give it a C tier and just move on with my life.
Yeah, this is just an average stage. I feel like middle of C is good. Not much to say about it. It's alright.
I guess the original placement I had for this stage is what we're gonna go with.
That was a quick one.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and now we have Fountain of Dreams. And already, this is yet another Battlefield clone. However, unlike the other ones, I'm personally gonna rank it in B tier because I just love the aesthetic of the Fountain of Dreams, especially because this design of the Fountain of Dreams is not directly pulled from Kirby Superstar. They actually made their own version of the design, which would actually go on to be used for some of the later Kirby games after that, which is pretty cool. Which is kind of funny because the Kirby series tends to have that sort of thing happen to them, where stuff from Smash gets adapted. But I digress. And also, unlike the other Battlefield clones, this one's quote-unquote stage hazard is literally just the platforms on the left and right raising up and down, I think, into the ground as well. And I believe it is a floating one. But yeah, there isn't really much else to say about it. And this one is definitely being hard carried by the visuals because, like, again, I really, really love the visuals of Fountain of Dreams, especially for this version. They look so freaking amazing. So, yeah, I don't have any much else to say on Fountain of Dreams otherwise. So, Jordan, take it away.
Okay, simple stage, but I feel like it is a pleasant one to look at. It's like a regular Battlefield stage, but I feel like a bit more appealing than regular Battlefield, so I honestly never really tend to notice any of the stage hazards. Well, I don't know why, but I give it an A. It's a pretty simple but solid stage.
Okay, so this stage I actually really like a lot. It's actually probably my favorite one so far. I mean, obviously there's more to break and stuff, but I don't know why. Even though it's like technically a Battlefield clone, I just really like this stage. It's like, I don't know what it is, like, 'cause the visuals are obviously cool, and for some reason it kind of reminds me of Rainbow Road for some reason, because maybe it's just the design of it or something, and like the crystals and all that stuff or whatever it is. But I always really love the stage, and it's really fun to fight on, and it's also like super dark there for some reason. Which, if you know me, I actually prefer the dark over the light. But yeah, I really love the stage a lot. It's always been one of my favorites, like ever since I started playing Smash Bros. In my opinion. So yeah, this is easy S tier for me. So yeah, I love this stage.
Yeah, it's just like a normal Battlefield stage, but prettier. I don't know. I like it. I'd put it in A. Not much to say about it.
All right, well, that averages out to top of A, which beats, well, higher than Temple because based on the S tier alone there, which I'm genuinely surprised for that, just like with Temple, because like, it's like all of us collectively have ranked the Battlefield clones for the most part in C tier, so I was legit not expecting this.
No, I guess I just really love the stage. I don't know why I do. I just do.
But much like Temple, that makes me happy because like, even then, like, I probably should have like ranked it a bit higher just because of the visuals alone, even if it is a Battlefield clone. But like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, probably unfortunately we're going to a slightly objectively worse stage. This is Green Greens, which if you look at it from a glance, you might think that it looks the exact same as N64 Kirby's Dream Land stage, and you might be right. However, it is far from exactly the same, because Dreamland was a Battlefield clone, and Green Greens is not.
Is this the one with the falling bombs?
The bomb blocks, yes, the ones that fall on the side, yeah.
Oh, okay. No.
And yeah, the aforementioned bomb blocks and the star blocks that can drop. I personally find them just funny, kind of like the bonsai build nukes that happen on Peach's Castle. And yeah, it's basically like a upgraded version of Dreamland because it's not a direct Battlefield clone, which is nice. And I especially like that everything is modeled, including the background, because the background is more or less the same idea as the original background from Dreamland, but in 3D. And Wispy Woods is also in 3D and also much more animated. He has like stretching going on, which is not accurate to Wispy Woods at all. I also like that he drops apples that can heal. You can heal. Bleh. He drops apples that you can use to heal yourself or throw at other players. And yeah, there isn't like that much else to say beyond that. It's just a better version of Dreamland. I think I personally would put it at bottom of B, but I don't know what the general consensus is. Excuse me, on this stage for the others. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I don't like this stage that much. Okay, because like I feel like comparing it to the other stage, I actually do kind of think this one's a bit of a downgrade, since I don't happen to like the concept blocks falling on the side. They kind of tend to me, they just kind of get in the way when you're trying to send people flying in. I mean, sure, it definitely works with being a chaotic stage, but it's not always one I want, at least for the most part. I don't remember if the wind is better or worse on this one, but either way, I'm not really a fan of the wind in some stages, since it's kind of just it's basically like a gust bellow just made its way into a stage, except it's just not as strong. But besides the point, honestly, I give the stage a D tier. I don't really like it that much.
I personally enjoy this stage. I just find it fun, especially like with a bunch of bombs, which can get annoying, but it also can be kind of good at the same time. Like if you're like two opponents, you can like easily like blow each other up and stuff, and like get higher damage and stuff. The wind admittedly can be a bit annoying to deal with, but then again, most winds in Smash are like super annoying to deal with. But at least they're not the upside down controls, which I'm not a fan of at all. But yeah, there's been times where I accidentally fall like in the gap because there's like no boxes there, and if I have like a character that has a terrible recovery, it's basically game over for me. So yeah, it's kind of annoying on that one, but I still think it's fun, but that's just my opinion. So I think I'll put it in like lower B tier, but that's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah, I like the stage. It does the splitting up into different sections a lot better than other stages like Peach's Castle do, because you can break the walls. And I feel like the bombs are more fun than chaotic. Well, chaotic, yes, but I feel like they're more fun than painful. I don't know. I put it in middle of B.
Alright, I think bottom of B is the average then. Sorry, Jordan. Alright, and now we move on to probably another one of the more iconic stages, but probably less so than Temple. This is Corneria, which you're literally fighting on the Great Fox with some R-Wings that can shoot you down. And as a stage, it's kind of interesting, albeit like weird that we're fighting on the top of the Great Fox, especially because it like logically doesn't make sense for anybody to like be standing on that top fin like and be like doing like standing straight up properly on a super thin fin bars. But also like bear in mind that this is also more or less a remake slash downsize slash whatever of Sector Z from Smash 64, in which the Great Fox was much bigger and also like a little bit more closer in scale. But personally, and even as I was recently replaying Smash 64 on a totally legal way to play it on my computer, I personally do not enjoy the larger size of the Great Fox there than I do in the later games. So on that front, I definitely would prefer Corneria over Sector Z. Though admittedly, I kind of do like the darker like background aesthetic of Sector Z over Corneria's super bright visuals, but at the very least, the visuals of the Great Fox itself are definitely a lot better than they were on the N64, which is not saying much. In terms of fighting on the stage, I don't know, it's like hit or miss sometimes, especially when the R-Wing as well as the Great Fox's cannons itself can't shoot you down. But you have to be like intentionally going down to the cannons or a big freaking idiot to like go down to the cannons and get blasted. And the R-Wings definitely can be annoying. I think I'm gonna put this at the very top of C.
I tend to like the stage a lot. Like, yes, and like it is. I'd say it's like a pretty memorable stage considering it was. Like, I think I remember it used to being a lot bigger, which honestly, it's one of those few cases where I'm glad they shrunk it down a bit. Like, at least enough to make it to where like it's easy. It's a like decently sized enough to send people flying while at the same time not being too small. I do like the addition of like extra R-Wings coming in that you can kind of jump on top on. Like, I know they don't really serve as much of a purpose, but I feel like that does add some extra fun to it, which, I mean, a downside though is I do wish like it was more obvious on when you can't jump on the gun below, since like I've had a few times where I try to jump down to it and I'm completely unable to because either I barely miss it or that I think something broke it or something like that. But I actually give it an 8 here. So yeah.
Okay, this stage is honestly not really that interesting to me. I don't really remember this stage, honestly. I mean, there were a few things like the actual playing is pretty cool, but I just don't. I do think it's kind of too small for my liking. It's just really not that interesting to fight on, even though it's iconic. I don't know. I just don't really find this stage that memorable. I find it kind of one of the most forgettable ones of the melee stages that was brought back on here. Not much to say, just moving on, C tier.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both Jordan and Michael. I think it's just an okay stage. Yeah, just not much to say about it. I don't know. B.
So I get I think somewhere in B average. We'll put it above Green Greens then. And now we have the same stage again, but this time the Gray Fox is coming towards the screen. It's Venom, which already I don't like, as I dislike it more than Corneria. Number one, it's because it's coming towards you and you're fighting on the fins, or the top fin and the wing. It already feels smaller than fighting on the Gray Fox in Corneria. I understand the point of having to make the top wings semi-solid, but like it's still, like, in that sense it feels strange that you can do that, especially because those wings are thin as hell. I guess the only thing that like it really has going for it is the aesthetic of the Venom planet itself, being like a lava planet. But I think eventually, if anyone's fighting on there for too long, someone who like has a tendency to like have their vision like go a little bit like higher, I guess, from the red coloring, could be a hindrance, because that is a case that has happened to me when I'm like staring at red colors for too long. It depends on the stage or the level or whatever. I don't know, like, I think Venom is just a lot more forgettable than Corneria, especially considering that Venom literally made its first appearance since Melee. I actually don't remember if R-Wings do show up on Venom. I want to say they do, but I don't remember if they did even during our B-roll. I could very well be wrong, and you guys are seeing the R-Wings on the screen right now.
I'm pretty sure they don't.
But yeah, this stage is... I'm not the biggest fan of the stage. I'm torn between bottom of C and top of D. I'll put it bottom of C.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably my first F rank of this stages, at least I think. Because honestly, one, feels kind of redundant to have a separate stage with the same kind of concept. But also, and like on the other hand, like at the same time, they definitely did this one a lot worse because they have it facing towards. And again, it's just the whole thing of having like a kind of a pillar in the middle that gets in the way. And as I said before, I'm not a really big fan of that. And also, the stage definitely needs to be a lot bigger to be bearable on, because at least with Peach's Castle, there's at least decent space on both sides. But with this one, like, not only there's not much space on, but also the wings are kind of like bent inward, which again can cancel out when you're trying to send someone flying. And also, I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure with the bottom wings that you can actually just straight up fall through them, which I think is just straight up stupid. So honestly, F tier. I don't really like it that much at all.
Okay, this is probably the first day I can truly say that I actually hate. Like, I really do not like this stage at all. It's way too small. There's like very little room to fight on at all, and it's just really not that fun, like, at all to play on. It's like super annoying to deal with, and then you just keep getting hit like over and over again, and you basically just spin around jumping like over and over again just to try to hit someone. Not really a fun stage to go on, like, at all. I really do not like this stage at all. So easy F tier for me. Like, this stage could go burn in hell is all I care for.
Okay, so two things before Prism goes is that, one, pun intended, question mark? Because you said burn in hell. It's a lava kind of stage, or planet.
I wasn't thinking about it. I just said go burn in hell.
Yeah. But anyway, the other thing I was going to say more importantly is that after hearing your guys' opinions and knowing what Prism probably is going to say, I changed my ranking from bottom of C to top of D. No, excuse me, bottom of B. Bottom of D! Sorry. Anyway, go ahead, Prism.
Well, the name Venom is very fitting for the stage, considering Venom is poisonous to humans and the stage is poisonous to fun. This might be one of, if not the worst stage in this game, honestly. It's not only is it super small, it has the thing that I hate where the stage is like split in half, but you have like 2 inches to fight on each side, and that's not nearly enough to work with. Sloped surfaces, yeah, that's a pain. It's just everything you could do wrong in a stage is done here, and The only thing is that it looks kind of cool. Other than that, bottom of F.
Personally, I wouldn't say it's the worst stage in the game, but
Oh, yeah.
definitely not the best.
Yeah, it's definitely terrible, but
It
there's
might be my least favorite.
well,
Right.
I feel
Right,
from an
fair
objective standpoint, there's definitely, again, at least one more worst stage to come. Thankfully, but thankfully we don't have to get it for 3 more videos. But anyways, side tangent. We now move on to Pokemon Stadium, which I honestly do kind of like the idea here. It's, well, the name speaks for itself. It's a Pokemon Stadium, which is derived from the game of the same name, where the point is like, well, it's pulled from like various like Pokemon sources where you're fighting like in a stadium with Pokemon. But I do think the idea of having 4 different hazards that can come up, being grass, fire, water, and ground or rock, one of the 2, show up, and they're all different from each other to give them more uniqueness, which I think is cool. Otherwise, like, the actual stage itself is kind of like that. It's like a basic fighting platform, but like the idea of it is more interesting than some of the other like basic fighting stages, like that are the Battlefield clones. To the point where I put it somewhere in B tier, somewhere in like the lower half, and I do like the nighttime aesthetic, and also, as I was talking about in the last video, I like that the beginning portion of the music, again, it's not factoring the ranking, but I like that the beginning of the music for Saffron City and this stage are in a different key, but also much like the temple theme, the Gen 1 title theme for Pokemon Stadium here is another one of my favorites that came out of Smash Bros. So, yeah, don't have anything else to say beyond that, so middle-ish of B tier for me.
Now, coming from someone who is a big Pokemon fan, I do tend to like this stage a lot. Like, I do like it. I do think its concept is pretty clever to have like the stage change to different, like, well, as you said, different Pokemon types. Can't remember what they all were like, but I could definitely, I'd say they were definitely, it's definitely one of my favorite, like, it definitely starts like what was one of my favorite concepts in terms of stages, is like stages that kind of change as you, like, change appearance as you play through them, since I feel like that definitely adds a bit more strategy than just memorizing the one level, since you gotta think about like what can happen for some of the other ones. But like, honestly, I'm kind of surprised that it took so melee to get a Pokemon like that, like Pokemon Field or like Pokemon League theme stage. I mean, again, but since this is also from a franchise that I do tend to like a lot, I'd say I give it an A tier. Like, definitely not top, definitely not an S, but I'd say a top of A. To me, I really like it.
Okay, so the Pokemon stage is another one from Melee, and I actually like this one a lot better than the previous one from the N64 one, Smash 64. It's a lot more fun to play on, and it's a little, it's just, I don't know, I always like this stage better than the other one. It's just because I just find it more fun to play, and it's not the one I was thinking of. That this one is the smaller version of it compared to like the Blast Zone one that'll be later on, I think, if I remember correctly. But my brain could be stupid, but yeah, I'd probably give it a high B tier. Because but it is definitely one I actually don't mind playing on Pokemon so far.
Yeah, I really like this stage too. Pokemon, the first arena style Pokemon stage. I like how it starts out as a basic battlefield, then shifts terrain to something more interesting. Some of them are kind of not the best. Like, I don't know if this is Stadium 2 or one, the ground type stage with the big wall on the left.
That's this one, yes.
I don't really like that one. But other than that, I really like the stage more thing. So yeah, I'd say A is fitting for it.
If I can add in my own little kind of comment to that, is that okay? The ground type stage with the pillar, like, although yeah, I could see that being annoying. Like, I'd much rather it be on the side as it is in the game.
I mean, yeah, it's just I don't
center.
like how there's a little spot on the edge you can stand on to survive while the pillar's up and hide from everyone.
Right, but then again, I definitely prefer something at the side than just smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I still think it's a A-tier stage.
I think at the very least I'll put it directly above Saffron City then. Alright. Now we have Mr. Ness's hometown on it. And strangely enough, even though I fought on this stage like so many times, I really do not have much to say about it. Like, it's far from a terrible stage to fight on, but like, I don't know, something about like the actual like stage layout is kind of just meh to me. I think primarily because like in my experience it has been like pretty annoying to like actually like more specifically like in like fighting against TPUs, because like they know their way around the stage sometimes, that like it's hard to like catch them, especially in Melee's freaking adventure mode where we have 3 Nesses to kill that almost always run away, which is really annoying. So that left a sour taste in my mouth for that front, but I honestly like, I think the cars that can come by, the drunk drivers if you will, they can be kind of annoying. Like, it depends on whether or not you're paying attention. I do think that like the stage's like background assets and visuals and stuff are pretty cool, because it more or less actually like gets as much details from the actual Onet's location in Earthbound, as far as I know, because like in the top you could see like the meteor that crashed down, and it may in the actually I don't know if it's in all the other versions, but I know if you take the camera like zoom out and like at a certain angle, you can actually see the a baseball field like that's hiding away in the foreground. So that's pretty cool. Other than that, yeah, it's kind of just like meh. Although the cover thingies, the platforms that basically make up like the covers or whatever on the drugstore building, those having the ability to fall off or fall down and make you fall can be annoying as well. But I think it's like subtle enough that like it's not like the most annoying stage hazard, especially because there's always ground below you. And I guess also it is kind of annoying that it is a walk-off stage as well. But even then, like, the walk-off aspect, like, it's hard to notice that sometimes, because especially, like, the blast zones are not as close as you would think they are. So, yeah, I think this is a middle of C tier stage for me.
Honestly, I'd probably drop the stage a bit lower in my opinion. Like, okay, because one, the houses at the site could again interrupt when you're trying to launch someone. Not to mention the cars do a lot more damage than I feel like they should. Since, like, I swear, I could get hit by like 2 or 3 cars and I'm already like close to the hundreds or in the hundreds. And also, not to mention the amount of hard spirits I tried fighting on that. Like, the amount of spirits that involved fighting on this stage made this even worse than they already were. Especially the freaking Nessa's father. That one took me way too long to finally beat. Like, and all because of this freaking stage and its stupid hazards. So, honestly, I'd drop it around, like, D. Bottom of D.
I was originally going to rank this episode. It's not an episode, a show. I meant stage to be an A tier, but after hearing both your guys' opinions on it, yeah, I think I could drop it to B tier, because I personally actually enjoy the stage, but I can understand the frustration on it, because the cars or drunk drivers are like extremely annoying to deal with. And there's also like one spirit in Light that was like annoying as hell to deal with. It was the Jeff spirit one. I don't know if Jordan said that or not, but I'm just saying it anyway.
Okay, sorry to interrupt, but I did say the Nessus Father, which is like a 4-star one, but yeah, I know there was another one on the stage that annoyed me in World of Light, and yeah, it was the Jeff Spirit.
Yeah, I don't like that spirit either, but I just got lucky to get that thing. As I think about it, so yeah, like I said, I kind of have a soft spot for the stage because I personally enjoy it, but like you guys said, it is also kind of frustrating to deal with, especially with a lot of stage hazards and stuff. So yeah, it's not an A tier. I'm just gonna give it a B. Yeah, just B.
I feel like this is one of the funnier stages to play on because of the drunk drivers, but it can be kind of annoying because of the shape of the stage, how the buildings kind of make like a bowl, and it's really easy to get stuck there and just not die. But I feel like this stage is more fun than it is painful, so I think middle of B is good for it.
I'll put it in that case, I'll give it the average of like the middle of the top of C. Alright, now we have Mushroom Kingdom 2. To this day, I still don't understand why it's called that, because it's not the Mushroom Kingdom, it's freaking Subcon. The setting of Super Mario Bros. 2. Honestly, I think for me, I'm gonna put a C tier directly above Mushroom Kingdom 1. Only because, like, the stage is kind of... Well, actually, it's not even close to similar, but, like... I don't know, like, the stage kind of does feel small, like, a little bit, especially, like, for the middle platform, and if you get knocked into the gaps on the left and right, they can be annoying. But also, like, I think with the higher platforms, they are walk-offs, but I think they're, like, the blast zones are, like, close enough that, like, you can't, like, it's not gonna be, like, an immediate walk-off again. One thing that I do like over Mushroom Kingdom 1 for sure is the visuals, because I'm glad that they specifically went with the Super Mario Bros. All-Stars / Super Mario Advance version of the graphics over the NES ones, because, like, I think the enhanced graphics from the All-Stars version of Mario Bros. 2 are significantly better than the ones from the original game. And that's especially the case for the stage itself over the Melee version, because in the Melee version, it was still the same idea for the graphics, except the ground was more orange for some reason. Like, the tan was more orange, which I could not tell you why, because that was a thing in the NES version and not the SNES version, as far as I can remember. I think the logs that can show up can be tad annoying. I don't remember if they can, like, just push you straight down the waterfall or not. Also, Birdo can randomly show up for no discernible reason, and it's kind of funny to just kill her. And also, for some reason, the Pidgeot and his carpet can show up. I don't understand why. There's no real point, but yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, C tier directly above Mushroom Kingdom 1.
Not really sure how to feel about this stage. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it has a few interesting ideas, but I feel like they're all kind of crammed a bit too close to each other. Like I think one thing I tend to notice a bit is that Birdo tends to show up a bit too frequently, in my opinion. Like, I've had times where I just straight up kill Birdo, and then she shows up like a minute or half a minute later. Like, and also not to mention the flying carpet dude. Like, I mean, I'd say that's just a fine gimmick, but not really one they need to add. Not really sure. I mean, I think another problem is that also the platforms aren't really big enough, I'd say. Like, they're a bit too small, in my opinion. And also sometimes it can be easy to where if there's a chance, like, you could get stuck behind Birdo, and then she just pushes you to the edge, which can be a bit of a hindrance, but that doesn't happen to me that much. So honestly, I just give it a C tier. I don't really have strong opinions.
Yeah, the stage is actually pretty solid, but it's also, like, kind of boring at the same time. And, like, Alex says it's like not even Mushroom Kingdom at all. It's clearly from Super Mario Bros. 2. And Birdo, honestly, to me, like only appears like half the time, like not only like twice or 3 times per match something. But sometimes she can appear a lot more often. But I don't know. I just feel like she appears just random times, like no matter what happens. I like the visuals of Super Mario Bros. 2, which is pretty underrated. I mean, not my favorite game, obviously, but I mean, because if you saw if you saw the tier list from the Mario games, you know that I wasn't a huge fan of it. So yeah, but it's fun to kill Birdo and all that stuff. And there's some vlogs. Or I think there's some vlogs. I don't remember, but like I said, it's been a while since I played a stage. Even though we just played like a week ago or something.
I don't even remember if the logs even showed up when we were doing the B-roll.
I don't remember, but I remember there being logs on the stage.
There are though. There's a log in the thumbnail on the right side next to Birdo.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Also, the blast zone is actually a lot more annoying to deal with than the one that we talked about that Ness's home because people like abuse that one like crazy. I mean, we even said like when we did the B-roll video that we're not going to abuse the blast zones.
I guess we did do that.
So I don't know. I'm kind of putting it on higher C or lower B because I kind of like the stage, but it's like kind of boring at the same time. I think I'll give it a C tier for now, but it could change between C and B in the future.
I feel like this stage is one of the more underrated ones. I feel like it's actually really good. I like all the Mario 2 references. That's cool. The layout's actually pretty good, even though it's like 3 different platforms. They're big enough to actually fight on, which I like. I don't know, just a good stage that kind of no one really talks about. So I think top of B is good.
Well, I guess I think I'll put it at the bottom of B to average. And I can definitely understand your reasoning for that, Prism, because I believe much like 1 or 2 of the other stages from Melee, this is the first time we're seeing Mushroom Kingdom 2 in Smash again since Melee.
Also, I think it's Mushroom Kingdom 2 because Mario 2.
Yeah, that I know that's the reason why, but it's still not the Mushroom Kingdom. Alright. Now we have Bryn Star Depths.
Is this the one with the lava? It's the rotating one.
The rotating one. And because of that, I'm already putting this one in F tier. But above Venom, though. Actually, scratch that. But below Venom. Because I think this stage is not fun to play on by any stretch of the imagination. Like, the only saving grace I can think of for this is that the idea is solid. Like, the idea of, like, a stage that gets rotated by a giant monster in the background. But, like, this platform is not consistent at all. Especially because, like, I think it's kind of random which direction Kraid can rotate the stage. And, like, the terrain can be super inconsistent from time to time. Because, like, there's a high chance that it can get rotated so that it's vertical, which is so obnoxious. There's a chance that it just somehow flips to the complete other side, and there's also a random platform that somehow also gets rotated. Like, it's not fun to play on by any stretch of the imagination. But the only other thing I can give it credit for is that, well, 2 things. The visuals are kind of nice, being in, like, the dark and, like, the core of a planet-looking place. The name Bryn Star Depths, after all. And the other thing is that, again, like, it's not the worst stage to fight on. Like, I think there's, well, actually, there's only one other stage that I could see that I would put below Bryn Star Depths, and then the other stage I was thinking of was, like, gonna be the worst. I'd probably put it above Bryn Star Depths. But as of right now, Bryn Star Depths is staying at the bottom of the list. I do not like the stage at all.
I'd say that's definitely the first stage that I'd say has great idea, but not very good execution. Like, I really like the idea of a stage that rotates and that's how it changes without actually changing the entire stage completely. But I do wish they executed it a bit better. Like, okay, like two things I'd say. One, definitely make the stage a bit more consistent because it kind of has the thing where it's like you pulled an iceberg out of the Atlantic. Like the top of it seems flat and nice, but then the bottom of it's like a lot sharper, like down, if that makes sense. Like, because like I feel like if they had just made it like, I don't know, a bit more cubic shaped and that's how it rotated, I feel like that would have worked just fine. But if they weren't gonna do that, I feel like they could have at least made it to where it rotates a bit slower. Because it rotates a bit quickly, you don't always have that much time to get on the right side. So honestly, I'll give it a C tier for at least being a good idea, but other than that, I feel like it's not very well executed.
This is somehow worse than Venom. Like, okay, yes, I mean, in Venom, I said that the stage was too small, but at least I can like stay on it and kind of fight a little more longer than the others at the smaller stage compared to this one. This one, I feel like I just cannot fight no matter how hard I try. Like, even if this stage is like extremely too small, and it also rotates, which doesn't help at all. Like when it rotates, like even in the B-roll when it rotates, I literally like was at the bottom, so I was already dead by the time that it happened. So yeah, I do not like this stage at all. It's extremely awful to play on. Like, how the hell do you make this one even worse than Venom? Like, I'd rather play Venom than this stage any day. Because, like I said, the Venom is a little bit tolerable with fighting on. This one is not at all. I guess I could say the only positive I have of it is that the visuals are very good. It actually kind of reminds me of the Star Wars movie,
Revenge of the Sith. Yeah.
Yeah, that's because of Obi-Wan and Anakin like doing the lightsaber duel. It just reminds me of that one for some reason. But like I said in Venom, coincidence or not, for the second time, this stage can go burn in hell for all I care for. Easy F tier. Worst one so far.
Yeah, and like I said, this stage somehow managed to be worse than Venom. And I also agree with what Jordan said about the iceberg, how it's flat on the top, but underneath it's just a mess. I'm pretty sure even in the B-roll footage you can see a part where I get stuck at the bottom with no way up for like 2 minutes and just killed myself because of that. Yeah, cool idea with the rotating stage, but this shape they picked just doesn't work at all. Yeah, F below Venom.
Okay, honestly, if I had to change my ranking, actually think of it more, I'd give it at least a D. Like, but other than that, like, again, I do like its concept, but again, could have had better execution.
Trust me, Jordan, I actually was contemplating, like before we did the tier list at all, I was thinking I was probably going to give Brinstar Deaths a D, but then as I was, like, thinking about it more, I realized, oh my god, I hate this stage. So, yeah, because, like, I like the idea. If the shape was, like, a better shape than whatever garbage they picked for this stage, then it'd be much more tolerable, but as it stands, this stage sucks.
Or again, they could have at least just made the rotation a bit slower.
Honestly, like, if they did that but kept the stage out the same, I don't think that would have helped at all.
Well, it will at least help to, like, give more time to get on the right side.
I don't know. Alright, now we move on to Big Blue, which is, so far for Smash Ultimate, the first F-Zero stage. I honestly don't know what to make of this stage, because, like, obviously we're fighting, like, directly in the middle of an F-Zero race, but honestly, I feel like the Mute City stage from Melee, which is not in this game, unfortunately, I feel like that's, like, done a little bit better than Big Blue, because you're actually, like, it's another one of, like, it's more of, like, the first official traveling stage akin to Delphina Plaza or Skyloft or the like, where on Mute City you're, like, on a platform that, like, is constantly shooting, well, not constantly shooting forward, but, like, it's, like, shooting forward to various predetermined spots on Mute City to stop and, like, just do a bit more fighting on, and the F-Zero machines can come along to like ruin your day possibly. Whereas here it's going in a horizontal direction, and also like you can stand on the F-Zero machines as they go, which is kind of interesting. But you just have to be careful not to slip off and hit the road. And also, there's the Falcon Flyer in the middle of the stage, which I don't remember the lore behind at all. I just know it's like a separate machine that exists than the Blue Falcon. And the reason I find that interesting because they actually did incorporate the Falcon Flyer into Subspace Emissary, which is cool. But the stage itself, like, I don't know. It's hard to really describe. Probably because I don't really like play on the stage all that much. For both Melee or Smash Ultimate. So I don't really know what to make of it. I kind of do like the idea, but like I guess also it very hardly resembles Big Blue from what I have seen, and I don't mean just the Mario Kart 8 Big Blue stage. I mean just like Big Blue in general. Although the only reference to Big Blue that I have to go off of that isn't the Mario Kart 8 one is the SNES one, as well as the one that they used in Melee's Adventure Mode, which I think is kind of directly pulled from Big Blue from F-Zero X, maybe. But this one is just a scrolling stage that also can loop and go up and down and stuff sometimes. I don't really know what to make of this stage, so somewhere randomly placed in C tier. I don't know. I'll put it at the top of C though. I do think it's like more interesting to play on, even if I do prefer the visuals of Jungle Japes.
Okay, definitely a kind of complex one for me to rate. Like, on its ups, I do like the idea of it, and I do also like how there's like occasional cars that show up below that you could also like jump on. They kind of serve as other platforms, but at the same time, it can be kind of unpredictable when they're just gonna start splitting up, or like when you're starting to go down a giant slope, and then you gotta hope you could grab onto one of them, or that the floor catches up. And I feel it is always satisfying if you ever get like a character fast enough to actually run on the actual speed of the track itself. But that, of course, you can't. I don't think you could do that just in game. At least I don't think. But I'm not really sure. I mean, I do wish the Falcon Flyer did stay in the frame for the entirety instead of it disappearing at just like around like at certain points. Since it would be nice to at least have that solid platform always there, so that way there's an option between fighting on the solid platform above or going for the row of other platforms at the bottom. And honestly, I guess I'll give it a B. It's a pretty solid stage, but I don't know. Not always one I revisit all the time. But honestly, all it's missing is just having Ridley come out of nowhere and smashing up some stuff to make it a bit more.
the meta Ridley fight.
A bit more of something. But otherwise, I give it a B.
Yeah, I don't really care for this stage too much. It's just kind of boring to me, and well, there are parts that like you can run on the car things or whatever they call it in F-Zero. I don't play it too much, but you know what I'm talking about. And then there's also like one of those platforms, all stuff around, and the one at the bottom just like kind of move like out in and out like over and over again. So yeah, I don't really have much to say with this stage, honestly. It's just kind of forgettable to me. This is an easy C tier for me.
I feel like this is one of the good stages no one really talks about. I like how it does the like where the platform where it's made of multiple platforms and they split up. I feel like it does that really well. The only thing, like Jordan said, is kind of unpredictable when they're going to split up. I said it in the B-roll footage, but I thought it would be cool if they like flashed their lights or something when they were going to mix up. But I don't know, just a good stage. It's not really talked about or remembered. So I'd say B is fitting.
I guess in a similar vein to Mushroom Kingdom 2, I'll put it, well, directly above that, actually. Alright, and now for our final stage from Melee that we get to rank. This is Four Side. Which, right away, the primary thing that that sticks out to me about the stage is the visuals, because the nighttime aesthetic is especially pleasing on this stage. Although I think I don't know if I like it more or less than Fountain of Dreams visuals. Though it definitely held back by its stage layout, because, like, unlike Peach's Castle, I think the tower building that's in the middle of the stage is more of a hindrance. But also, there are some gaps on either side of that tower and the building next to it, which can be annoying. I do think it's interesting that a UFO just randomly shows up, and I'm especially glad that in the jump to this game, they fixed the weird conveyor belts physics that they had going on that UFO. I guess there is a crane platform that's just on the left side for some reason, and yeah, I feel like this stage is kind of just like forgettable. Though I don't know. I don't know if I think I'd probably put it. I'll put it in like the lower C, above Super Happy Tree and the Great Bay and Congo Falls.
Not really sure. I'd probably say around like either top of C or bottom of B. Like on one, like, okay, like, yes, it does do the same thing of like having a giant pillar almost in the center of the stage, but one, it's slightly moved to the side a bit, where I feel like, yes, it can be a bit annoying, but at the same time, it's not nearly as, I wouldn't say it's as much of a hindrance if it was like directly in the middle. And plus, even with that, they do still give at least enough space to fight on in some cases, and I feel like the UFO definitely helps with some of that. I guess not really else for me to say. I'd say either, again, top of C or bottom of B.
I'm not much a fan of this stage. I don't know why, but every time I play this stage, I always seem to do very bad on it. Like, no matter how hard I try to play on it. I feel like this stage, like, hates me. Like, no matter what I do, I just cannot do well on this stage, no matter what. I feel like I'm cursed with this stage. Like, every time I play it. Like, even in the B footage, like, you guys can see, like, I literally tried to, like destroy my friends, like, with the 9. I know it's overused, but come on, like, it's Mr. Game Watch. What do you expect from me? Anyway, but even when I don't play Mr. Game Watch on the stage, I still feel like I'm just getting bullied, like, no matter how hard I tried. And then I do something very stupid, and then I end up dying. So, yeah, I honestly do not really like the stage that much. So, maybe I'm just not good at it. I don't know. But, I'm putting in D tier. I just not a fan of the stage at all.
I usually tend not to like the stages that are made of multiple platforms, but I actually really like this stage. It might be one of my favorites. It's very pretty. It's actually fun to fight on, and yeah, it does have the pillar in the middle, but I feel like it's small enough that's not really a problem. I like when the UFO shows up because there's another big platform you can move to fight on. I don't know, I feel like everyone kind of hates it, even though it's actually a pretty well-designed stage. So I think top of B is pretty good.
I'll average it at top of C, then. Alright, well, thankfully we're not ending on a sour note for Melee stages. That was definitely a lot more mixed overall. We had some ups and a handful of downs, especially compared to Smash 64.
So I say overall with the Melee stages, they're pretty mixed, like Alex says. Some were good, while some were really not that bad, or pretty bad, and there were a couple that I just thought like they're just mid to me. I do enjoy them better than the N64 ones. I don't remember if I said in the first part or not. Oh wait, no, I didn't. But yeah, so I enjoyed these stages a lot more than N64. So we'll see how Brawl goes with those stages.
I could definitely say with melee stages, there was definitely quite a few bad ones, but the ones that were good, I'd say they were pretty good. But also, I know this note I probably should have said a bit sooner, but in terms of Venom, like of the Star Fox stages, I definitely would have preferred if they brought back that stage that was in Wii U.
Oh yeah,
Even though I haven't
Lila
played it-
get assault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least I think so. At least that one looks more interesting in my opinion.
Honestly, like thinking about the stage, like I can never like the one detail that always like rings in my head is like the fact that it literally took like a single year to make that stage or something. Anyway, that is going to be all for today's video. I'm generally surprised that like our averages have not managed to reach an S tier yet, but I know we have gotten close, but we have not hit that yet. But hopefully we'll at least get like at least one stage somewhere in here that can manage to reach S tier. There is one that I'm eyeballing here that I'm hoping could like is a contender for it at least.
If you guys see my tier list on my channel and stuff on my community tab, you'll know that I actually do have an S tier. Just one so far on the early stages.
Yeah.
Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, collectively we don't have one yet, but again, that's could hopefully be subject to change. But anyway, that is going to be all for now. So thank you guys a lot for watching, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.
Hey guys, thanks again for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, then consider leaving a like on the video and also subscribing to my channel. You should also check out the stuff my friends make. Sorry, hang on. As I was saying, you should also check out the stuff my friends make. Those being JordanDraws, Michael Game Show, Prism, and YourLocalLogo. I think you'll enjoy the stuff they make, and you might find me in some of that stuff as well. Their links to their channels or socials are in the description. And I think that's all I got, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers!